Dignity. 10 Steps to Building Your Self-Worth. Introduction. This ebook is a guide to encourage and support you to take control of your self-esteem, honor your self-worth, and reclaim your dignity. No one else in the history of the universe has been just like you. You're the best example of yourself that there is, or has ever been. And you have a responsibility to be kind to yourself, acknowledge and celebrate the individual qualities that make you up. Dignity is not something people talk about that much, but it's the foundation and signal to the world of self-worth. Saying someone has dignity tells you there's something special about them. They're not defined by other people. They know and value themselves, and it stands out. There's a quiet shine to dignity. It's not the brash shininess of arrogance or the heavy smallness of self-doubt. Dignity is calm and confident. Dignity says this person knows their inner self, and they stand proud. Dignity is a powerful concept that lifts self-esteem above just feeling good about yourself. Dignity honors your value as a unique human being. It implies honesty and self-awareness as well as positivity. And increasing your self-knowledge and self-valuation is the theme of this book. We'll look at the causes of low self-worth and the pressures that hold us back from living a positive life. We'll discover 10 steps you can take right now to change this, from challenging your inner critic through journaling and on to alternative approaches like meditation, self-hypnosis, and emotional freedom technique. Congratulations, you've already taken the first step to a happier life. You're on your way. The importance of self-dignity. So, why is it important to have positive self-esteem? You might think you've gotten by pretty well so far, and that's great. You probably have. But is getting by enough? Don't you want to do more with your life? Don't you want to be the best possible you? Positive self-worth is the key to contentment. It gets you off the treadmill of striving just to get that one thing that'll make you happy, whether it's a new car, a bigger house, or promotion. Self-worth starts with clarity and honesty about yourself and where you are in the world. Having a healthy sense of self-dignity allows you to step up and take control of what you want out of life. It gives you the confidence to look at opportunities that otherwise you might pass by, believing you aren't good enough to be successful at them. It gives you the self-assuredness to stand up for yourself and set appropriate boundaries. A sense of dignity and self-worth is grounded in an honest appraisal and acceptance of your strengths and weaknesses. That is true self-knowledge, which allows you to take advantage of your strengths and be objective about things you could improve. Studies have shown that if you feel good about yourself and believe you deserve to be happy or wealthy or have good relationships, you will attract those things into your life. It's a myth that some people are born lucky. People who expect to be happy, whose positive mindset leads them to see opportunities for happiness, will be happier. Key aspects of dignity in your life. 1. You'll have a higher self-esteem, which leads to a more satisfied life. When you look around, you'll see the good things rather than focusing on the bad. You'll be content with what you have, but will be open and expect to receive even more. 2. You'll have a positive mindset, so you won't be undermining yourself with negative self-talk. The inner critic will always be there, but you'll know how to keep it in check and how to harness that analytical capability to keep increasing your self-awareness. 3. You'll have strong self-knowledge. You'll be more successful at work and will be able to deal with problems and crises calmly and competently. Problems won't get out of proportion. A crisis will not be a catastrophe because you'll know you're capable of handling it. 4. You'll be less needy, less reliant on other people's good opinion of you. You'll be strong enough in your self-worth not to compare yourself with others. 5. You build relationships with an honest and confident self-knowledge, so they're likely to be stronger and more open. 6. You'll be more adaptable to changing circumstances, and you may end up being the person that other people turn to for advice. Perhaps most importantly, you'll be a happier person, kinder to yourself and others, with a sense of proportion about what's important and what isn't. Self-worth struggles. So what holds so many of us back from feeling worthy, from feeling good about ourselves? Why can it feel like such a struggle? External messages. There are all sorts of reasons why we may feel bad about ourselves or aspects of ourselves. The seeds of poor self-esteem are often sown in early childhood and then reinforced by teachers, other students, work colleagues, and partners. The messages we receive throughout our lives about our competence and personal qualities gradually build up a picture that we rarely question. And this is more so now than ever, thanks to the constant pressures from advertising and social media. One of the nastier aspects of this process is the self-fulfilling prophecy or negative feedback loop. If you're constantly receiving messages that you'll never lose weight, never get a promotion, never be successful, or are no good at math or with money, those messages can seep into your subconscious and harden into a rigid set of beliefs that become your self-image. Social and other media. All of this is made much worse by the pressures, expectations, and messages we receive regularly. Think how frequently we see images of how a successful person looks. Someone with a big car, a big house, and a perfect relationship. We're fed images of perfect bodies with flawless skin, and celebrities who seemingly never age or are never unhappy. Add to this the distorting image of social media, with everyone putting their best possible gloss on their lives. Holidays, happy families, perfect babies, and it's hard not to compare yourself with everyone else and feel that you fall far short. Toxic family and friends. We can also struggle with family and friends who may be less than supportive or actively toxic. Those who undermine our feelings of self-worth by reflecting back a distorted picture of who we are and how we behave. If your friends and family are constantly critical and tell you that you'll never lose weight, get that promotion, or find a life partner, it's really hard for you to build up a positive self-image. Trapped in the past and anxious about the future. Another barrier to developing self-worth is not being able to stay in the present. Negative self-talk reminds you of past failures, past aspects of yourself that people have found fault with, relationships or jobs or studies that didn't work out, the times when you lost. Unfortunately, that becomes the focus of your self-worth instead of thinking of them as past lessons balanced by achievements and wins. Focusing on past failure can pair up with projecting into an anxious future, catastrophizing about the things that might go wrong. That sets up a yo-yoing dynamic where you're never just being in the present. Developing self-worth depends on staying in the present, in the reality of the here and now, and being honest about what's happening now. But there's good news. You can reprogram your mindset. All of these influences feed into a negative mindset and self-talk, that commentary track in your head that's always picking up your mistakes, always criticizing. We're set up to have a powerful inner critic. There is a part of your brain, the reticular activating system, or RAS, that acts as a filter for what comes into your consciousness. It filters out unnecessary information, so the important things get through. If we didn't have it, we'd be overwhelmed by all the information pouring into our brains every day. The RAS sorts, files, and reprioritizes what you need to know, depending on your preset priorities. For example, have you ever noticed that when you're thinking of buying a new car, you suddenly start seeing the model turning up everywhere? Your RAS has been tuned to notice that type of car. And it also does that for your self-beliefs. Your mindset can become programmed to filter only negative thoughts and feelings. Luckily, once you realize this, you can decide to reprogram your RAS for positivity. You'll learn more about this as you read on. 10 Steps to Build Self-Dignity. Building your self-worth is a process that'll take some time. After all, how long did it take for your natural enthusiasm for your abilities in life to evaporate little by little? But take heart. It's a journey of discovery and beauty. No one who's ever taken this journey has ever regretted it. Keep reading to learn about the steps to take to build your self-dignity. Grow self-awareness. You can't have self-esteem without being self-aware. If you take a trip and you want a navigation system to guide you, you need to know where you are and where you want to go. The same goes for developing your dignity muscles. Self-knowledge gives you clarity about your strengths as well as your weaknesses, your goals, and your challenges. That in turn allows you to take charge of your self-worth. No one can do this for you, and it's not the easy road. However, it's a much better, healthier way to live than continuing to allow other people to determine your self-esteem. And that's what happens when we permit ourselves to easily be swayed by the opinions of others. Steps to self-awareness. Spend time alone in the quiet. Ponder the following questions. It's a good idea to write the answers down, too. Journaling is one of the top ways to get in touch with the real you buried inside. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? The real ones, the ones I can see in myself, rather than ones other people have reported. What's most important to me in life? What are my goals in life? Do I believe I can achieve those goals? How? Practice self-reflection. Doing this daily is best, but if that isn't possible, then do it as often as you can. Use your journal to write down aha moments, successes at building your self-esteem, and challenges to it. Evaluate external messages. Don't just accept them as you have in the past. If they aren't kind or delivered as constructive criticism, don't accept them. Practice saying something like, "That's not mine," or "That's crap," or "That's not my circus" in your head when someone attempts to mold your self-worth. Then replace it with what's true. You can say this truth in your mind or even out loud once you're alone. An amazing thing starts to happen when you truly desire self-awareness. Your RAS and other parts of your subconscious will offer you ways to do just that, to know yourself deeply so you can appreciate yourself and grow your dignity. Change your self-talk/mindset. As we saw earlier, you have a negative mindset programmed into your brain, but it hasn't been hardwired, and you can reprogram it. You can take back control of your self-talk and turn it around so it's working for you, not against you. A key tool for reprogramming is that part of your brain we talked about earlier, the reticular activating system, RAS. In purely physical or mechanical terms, the RAS is a bundle of neurons located deep in the brain. It acts as a filter or portal, very like an email app that sorts the incoming stimuli and prioritizes what's important. And just as you can set your preferences for email sorting, you can set and reset your RAS to positive. Just as the RAS resets itself whenever you're thinking about something important to you, that new car or holiday, you can set it consciously to notice what you want it to notice. And that's a powerful tool to have on your side. You can use your RAS to get what you want, to focus your attention and your energy onto the things you want to have in your life, and not the things you fear. Reprogramming your RAS is the science behind the law of attraction, manifesting magical thinking and vision boards. Once you know how it works, you can stack your RAS to filter positivity, not just beliefs, but actions and feelings too. And importantly, your RAS is your magic wand in disarming your inner critic. Your inner critic is always there, ready to prick your balloon or stop you risking success. While this little voice in your head can be helpful to keep you safe, it can also lower your self-esteem by replaying untrue messages from long ago. You can choose to turn this around. Try these 3 techniques to halt your inner critic in its tracks and reset your RAS from negative to positive. Techniques to reset your RAS. 1. Notice your self-talk. When you make a small mistake, do you hear your self-critic telling you how stupid or worthless you are? Start paying attention to your self-talk. What are the most common things your inner critic screams in your ear? Make a list of them in your journal and free-write your thoughts, feelings, and memories surrounding them. The first step must always be recognizing the issue. 2. Demand evidence. Too often we just accept what other people think of us as truth. The problem with that is that they're filtering their perceptions through their negative self-talk and experience. Refuse to believe negative traits or weaknesses until you can see them in action for yourself. 3. Change the record. Once you've become aware of what your inner critic most often says and have discovered where it comes from, you can begin to filter it out and change the record. When you make a mistake or you run into whatever triggers the negative self-talk, catch yourself and reverse that self-talk. Live authentically. What is an authentic life? How do you know if you're living authentically or not? Arguably, the hallmark of authenticity is living with ease. You feel content and empowered. You know your true self and see its strengths and weaknesses, and you love yourself just the way you are. Authenticity is grounded in 1. You gaining a deep self-knowledge. 2. Making conscious decisions about what's meaningful for you and what your beliefs and values are. 3. Using your beliefs and values to move and act in the world. Deciding to live a more authentic life means making a conscious decision to detach yourself from all the expectations of 21st century living. It means letting go of perfectionism, being honest about what's important to you, and recognizing that living an authentic life is an ongoing process, not an end goal. So many of us find ourselves living a life of self-doubt, feeling undeserving or incapable, or wishing we were walking another path. If you feel dissatisfied with your life, if you dread Monday mornings, if you're clock watching or feel like nothing ever goes right for you, these are signs that you're not living in alignment with your true self, living authentically. Finding your true self can only be done by looking within. 4 steps to living authentically. 1. Define your beliefs and values. You can't live an authentic life if you don't know what you stand for and what your beliefs are. 2. Be aware of how you react to different situations and people. Are the things that trigger you into feeling you need to be fake to be good enough when in particular situations or around certain people? Investigate that. Why do you think that happens? 3. Dedicate yourself to authenticity. It's not always easy to stand in your truth and feel confident that you're good enough, but it's worth the effort to develop attention toward your triggers. It's okay if you have to catch yourself starting to put on your I'm perfect mask. Notice that urge and remind yourself that you are enough, just as you are. 4. Trust your intuition. When we're living authentically, we feel in sync with our surroundings and ourselves. If your intuition is telling you something's off, then it is. When this happens, dial in to see what's going on. Practice mindfulness. The human mind is constantly thinking. That's what it's meant to do. But most of us spend a great deal of time focusing on things in our past or worrying about the future. Those with a low standard of dignity do this even more so. We allow our mind to constantly bring up all the times we've made mistakes or failed and then wallow in those memories, weaving stories around them. Time spent this way only embroils our negative self-image even more. The same goes for worrying about the future. Those with low self-esteem worry about things that are not likely to happen, but they believe they will happen because they don't trust themselves to be able to make the right choices. This activity is known as catastrophizing, and it only further erodes your self-confidence. Mindfulness is simply the act of paying attention to this moment on purpose, without judgment, but with curiosity. Practicing mindfulness builds contentment and self-confidence because it makes you more aware of all the beauty within and around you. It helps you shift your mindset naturally without trying because you get to know your true, powerful self in ways you've probably never experienced before. To practice mindfulness, begin to notice when you're thinking of the past or the future and bring your mind back to the present moment. Don't be harsh on yourself or beat yourself up for not staying present. Remember, that's what everyone's mind does. Just say to yourself, "Oops, I was in the past again," and bring your mind gently back to now. Many people around the world have changed their lives through this simple shift in attention. To learn more about practicing mindfulness, search for a mindfulness-based stress reduction class in your area. They're even available online if there are none around you. Many community centers and hospitals offer them as a way to improve both the mental and physical health of those they serve. Spend time with positive people. If you feel you've never had anyone supportive or positive in your life, finding positive people to spend time with can seem impossible, but it isn't. If you're truly committed to improving your self-dignity, you're going to have to change how much time you spend with toxic friends and family members. If you continue to spend time with the same people who are always telling you you aren't good enough, for whatever reason, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle that's unnecessary. You may want to start by making a list of the positive people in your life and a separate list of negative ones. If you find, for example, that everyone in your office likes to make you a scapegoat or use you as a doormat, it's time to consider finding a new job where your talents and skills are appreciated. If your extended family makes you out to be the black sheep who can't do anything right, think about skipping family weddings and holidays where they'll be all together, just ready to gang up on you. Just because they're blood doesn't give them the right to abuse you. To make these changes, you're going to need to be brave and dig deep down to find an even small amount of self-worth. You need to believe you deserve better than what you have now. You'll also need the strength to stand up for yourself, to turn down invitations to events where those toxic people will gather. But you can do it. Don't stop there, though. Sitting around being lonely will only make you regret your decision to cut ties with negative people. Now it's time to step up and find new friends who will love you just as you are. That's easier to do now than ever before. You might start by joining positive online groups where you support one another and learn about a hobby or topic that interests you all. If you've had abusive relationships or other troubles, join a support group, either online or in your area. Sign up for courses through your community center or the local junior college. It doesn't matter what the class is. What matters is that you're stepping out to find people you have things in common with who could become those new supportive friends you want. You might want to check into Meetup, which is a large online search engine where you can find local groups in your area who share a hobby, belief system, or activity. You can find just about any group there imaginable. It's a wonderful way to make new friends, gain support, and learn new things all at once. Backfill your life with positivity. Part of living an authentic life and building your self-worth is making the conscious decision to do things differently and choose to be happy. Backfilling positivity into your life makes it easier to find the joy in the everyday. Backfilling positivity just means adding little things to your life that bring you joy. And believe it or not, it's not all about adding more stuff to your life. It's also about noticing and appreciating what's already there. 1. For a start, you can backfill positivity into your life by staying in the present. We spend so much time stewing over the past and being anxious about the future that we forget to enjoy what's here right now. 2. Become aware of your anxious, negative, or fearful thoughts and what triggers them. Identify them and swap them for positive ones. 3. Be grateful for what's right in front of you, even if it's something that's an ordinary part of your life, like a cup of coffee, or your computer screen linking you to the rest of the world. 4. Make extraordinary things special. Don't just grab a lunchtime sandwich and eat it at your desk. Buy yourself something delicious. Go sit in a park and enjoy the sounds and colors of nature. Slowly eat your lunch, enjoying every mouthful and staying in the present. Don't think forward to worry about the afternoon's meeting or task. Just be. Cook dinner with your partner or your kids. Look for what they're doing well and comment on that. 5. Decide to do one kind thing for yourself and one kind thing for someone else every day. Let someone go before you in a queue at the supermarket or coffee shop. Let that car into the traffic. Look them in the eye and smile. Buy yourself some flowers. Backfilling your life with small bits of positivity will have a flow-on effect on everything else. Things will irritate your eyes and shrink down to their proper size. Your blood pressure will go down. Anxiety and stress levels will go down. People around you will smile more. You'll smile more. Backfill positivity into your life wherever and whenever you can, and the positivity will come back to you. By changing your focus to the positive things in life, you'll improve other people's lives as well as your own. Listen to your inner wisdom. Improving your self-dignity will be a process. As with any process, you won't be able to do things once and then be ready to move on to the next step. You'll find there'll be a natural cycle in the process. You will need to gain self-awareness, for example, as the first step. But that isn't a weekend job. And then it's checked off the list. You'll need to continue to stay open to learning about yourself. It's a discovery process that is amazing. You can use some of the things we've already discussed in this ebook as a way to explore your inner wisdom. For example, journaling is one powerful way, as is intuitive art, being creative, and practicing mindfulness. But there are more ways that we haven't mentioned yet. One reason you probably aren't aware or familiar with the inner wisdom we all have is due to the busy lifestyle that we tend to keep in the 21st century. The amount of time that we're plugged in leaves little time for quiet and solitude to tune in to this wisdom that speaks more softly than the technology buzzing all around us. While shutting off your computer and cell phone for a while may feel foreign in the beginning, you'll soon yearn for more quiet time with just the company of your inner wisdom. Here are some ways you can access that wealth of knowledge. Meditation. There are many types of meditation, so feel free to try different types to see what resonates with you. You can start right now by closing your eyes and focusing on your breathing. Just breathe, without trying to control the breath. That's meditation. When we slow down and listen during meditation, we can clear our mind of the constant noise and hear our inner wisdom speak to us. We discover our original nature of wholeness and beauty. You can find local groups who facilitate training on meditation and who meditate together. You can also, of course, learn from online classes or groups and meditate on your own. There are even many apps available that you can use to help. Most of these offer guided meditations, which those new to meditation find helpful. Anyone can meditate. Yoga. This ancient practice is a form of moving meditation. It encourages you to connect with your body in ways we seldom do anymore, since we so often live in our heads. Getting out of your head on a regular basis is a good thing. It makes us more aware of how much our self-talk impacts our self-dignity and happiness. Participating in yoga classes boosts self-esteem by showing your heart and mind that you're worthy of self-care. As our body grows stronger because of yoga, so does our self-worth. We start to trust our decisions more, see ourselves as in control of our lives, believe in our abilities, and accept our limits. Yoga also helps us learn the benefits of taking small steps to improve our lives and teaches us how to self-soothe, so we're less likely to crave external validation, which is something that those with low self-confidence need. Like with meditation, there are many classes and groups available where you can practice yoga. It's a great way to learn the correct postures while meeting others who want to develop both strong bodies and minds. You can practice yoga at home with one of the many streaming yoga sites or one of the yoga apps available now. No matter what your physical shape, there's a yoga class that you can enjoy. Energy healing. Energy healing is a general term that encompasses many different modalities. Many healers use crystals, herbs, and hands-on energy techniques to help you locate the self-limiting beliefs and old stories that are holding you back from experiencing the true, powerful you. As mentioned, there are many different types of energy healing, including Reiki, emotional freedom technique, quantum touch, Brennan healing, and pranic healing. There are practitioners of each of these types of energy healing all over the world, and most likely some of them are near you. Some energy healers, depending on what they practice, can be accessed online by meeting through video or over the phone. For example, it's possible to send Reiki from a distance, so it doesn't matter where you live. You can find a Reiki master to assist you in building your self-worth by helping you realize the old static energy or beliefs that are no longer serving you. If you're interested in energy healing, you'll just need to spend some time learning about the different types so you can choose the one that'll be of the most benefit to you. After that, the next step is to find a practitioner with who you resonate and trust. Get creative. Building your self-worth can be fun and a chance to discover and encourage your inner creative. Art, music, and other creative pursuits have long been used in therapeutic settings to help people overcome depression, anxiety, and self-doubt. And there's increasing research that the very popular trend of adult coloring books has a very positive impact on mental health. So even negative self-talk that whispers that you can't draw or you aren't creative doesn't have a leg to stand on. Creativity can be a really helpful way to build your self-worth and have a lot of fun along the way. Check to see what's available in your city. You should find classes in music, ballet, ceramics, painting, or whatever speaks to your creative heart. Trying something new is also a great way to grow your dignity. It gives you a chance to spread your wings and learn things about yourself. We're always surprised by our talents when we try something new. You can combine these two ideas easily by getting creative using a medium you've never tried before. As mentioned above, taking a course is a fun way to grow your talents, get creative time, and meet people you otherwise wouldn't have met. You don't have to become a famous watercolorist. You just want to find a creative hobby that makes your soul sing. A creative outlet that makes you lose track of time. It could be adult coloring books, bullet journaling, or knitting. You can do them all at home alone. Maybe when you master one of those, you'll get excited about trying a class to expand your fun and sense of adventure. Embrace imperfections. Maybe humans have always been perfectionists, but perfectionism has no doubt gained momentum in our fast-paced age. Most of us rush around every day trying to do everything perfectly. The belief that others are perfect, and so we should be, is one of the biggest reasons why so many of us are miserable. We think that we're the only ones who can't seem to get their stuff together. Of course, this isn't true. People hide the messy parts of their lives because they're trying to appear perfect too. The truth is, you aren't perfect and you never will be. No one can be. It's impossible. We each have our strengths and weaknesses that'll make us a unique combination. Imagine how boring the world would be if we were all perfect. Perfectionism is a monster that wears down our self-dignity at every turn. It keeps us so busy with mindless activities that we never have time for self-reflection and self-care. If you want to be happy and full of self-worth, you're going to have to let go of the goal of being perfect. To start the break perfection habit, you can begin to 1. Notice when your self-talk is telling you you're not doing it right, or you'll never be thin, rich, happy, or whatever your perfection goal is. 2. Change the message and pat yourself on the back when you've worked hard and made progress, whether you did it right or not. 3. Become aware of the times when you slip into perfectionism. Notice how it made you feel. Then bring yourself back to the place where you can accept a job well done, even though it isn't perfect. 4. Notice when other people try hard and praise them as well. 5. Watch out for shoulds in your speaking or thinking. When that word pops up in conversations or mind, you can be sure you're moving into the perfectionist territory. After a while, you'll catch yourself sooner so that you rarely fall into the old pattern. Recalibrate your expectations and embrace imperfection. Be happy with good enough. Practice kindness. Being kind to yourself and others is a key element of living a happier life. It goes hand in hand with a commitment to change your self-talk and embrace imperfection that we discussed earlier in the guide. Unkindness is a hallmark of the negative self-talk that drives poor self-esteem. Go back and have a look at all the mean things that your inner critic said to or about you when you listened to your negative self-beliefs. Look at them and imagine yourself saying that to another person. It's unthinkable that you would ever be as unkind to anyone else as you are to yourself. Would you tell someone else that they're hopeless and would never be any good? Stop giving yourself permission to beat yourself up. It's not true, it's not kind, and it doesn't help. Kindness means accepting yourself as who you are, weakness, flaws, and all. And when you do that, you'll be kinder to other people and stop expecting them to be perfect or to rescue you. We know that positive reinforcement works much better than punishment or threats of coercion. Apart from backfilling your life with positivity, you can be kind to yourself by setting firm boundaries that stop you comparing yourself to other people and looking externally for approval and validation. These 3 steps will help. 1. Commit to self-knowledge as a regular practice. Check in to see how you're feeling and nurturing yourself. 2. Use social media in a more disciplined way that supports rather than undermines your self-esteem. Give yourself regular breaks from social media. Look at your friends or followers list and see who you want to stay in touch with. Detach yourself from the need for likes, follows, shares, and comments. 3. Learn to say no firmly, but kindly and reasonably. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. 4. Build kindness into your life in all sorts of ways, and not just kindness towards yourself, but also towards others. Spreading kindness is contagious, and it'll encourage you to be kind to yourself in return. Buy yourself payday treats. Make one evening a week a treat or pampering evening, and do what you want, whether it's long candlelit dinners, pizza or movie night, reading on the sofa, or going out to the movies. Buy a pass-it-on coffee when you pick up your regular morning coffee. Make eye contact with salespeople and say thank you. Smile. Ask colleagues, friends, or fellow members of your church, gym, or club how they are and mean it. Hold the door open for someone who has their hands full. Let someone with fewer items go ahead of you at the cash desk. Look up as you walk down the street. Notice things like architectural details, birds, the leaves on the trees. Notice everyone else looking at their smartphones and missing the world. Once you've committed to walking a kinder path, it becomes easier and becomes a positive feedback loop. It sets up a nice payback system. The kinder you are to people, the more likely they are to be kind to you. And regardless of what you get back, you'll discover that being kind makes you feel good. The old truism about it being better to give than receive turned out to be true. Being kind to yourself and others will make you feel like a nice person. That's a direct contradiction of all those negative mindsets you're clearing out. Being kind is also healthy. There's a lot of scientific evidence that states kindness makes your body and mind healthier, as well as happier. You release feel-good chemicals in your brain, principally dopamine, the chemical which Prozac mimics. Your blood pressure lowers through the release of oxytocin and nitric oxide in the blood. Oxytocin also reduces inflammation and free radicals in the body. Your mother may have said to you, "Kindness costs nothing." How amazing that something that costs nothing more than a smile or opening a door can have such a big effect. And it's not just the person you were kind to that's affected, but everyone who witnessed it. Conclusion. This ebook should have given you some new insights into the causes and triggers of poor self-worth, how to overcome the barriers to better self-esteem, and some tangible suggestions on how to build a happier and more positive you. You can take back control of your self-image and self-worth. You can live an authentic and fulfilled life. You can reprogram your mind and become your best champion. But remember, you don't have to do it all at once. You've already made a fantastic start by reading this ebook. Go back and see which of the suggested techniques feel like something you can do right now. The most effective change starts with one step and gradually builds up from there. By increasing your self-knowledge, being kind to yourself and others, embracing your true self in all its imperfection, you can, little by little, create a happier, more fulfilled life, knowing that you deserve it and you're in control.